Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Just to elaborate a little bit, there are 3 or 4 entities that could provide the care that you're describing, Senator. The IHS has some absolutely phenomenally good facilities surrounding Anchorage and Fairbanks particularly, and we're hoping that this MOU that we have, not only will it provide for care for veterans in IHS facilities in a general sense, but we also want to set up separate sharing agreements so we can get the specialty care for veterans that are non-native in those facilities. That's one. 2 is that there are excellent private facilities. We've had some difficulty in coming to agreements with the private facilities, but we're continuing to pursue that. And then finally, there's the Air Force. There are opportunities for us to share with the Air Force that we need to capitalize. And from the DOD, Dr. Woodson, Jonathan Woodson and I are going to be traveling to Alaska probably in May to specifically explore what we can be doing with the Air Force. I want to just reiterate what the Secretary said. We do not want to be sending people down to Seattle, which is a 3 to 5 hour ride in a plane, for care that can be delivered at a good price in the community, and that is our goal.
Well, and I appreciate that. I think it's important that we be looking to the various alternatives that do exist. And as you point out, the military on the private side and the very credible IHS facilities that we have out there. I think it is important to recognize, though, that when we talk about flying outside, that is a 3-hour flight, 3 hours and 15 minutes from Anchorage. But for many of our veterans who live in the rural outlying areas, it's also a 3-hour flight. It might be a full day trip to get from a small village to a hub village to Anchorage. So it's not just closer to home in the sense that we're not going to send outside the state, but I've also asked for an assessment as to how we can deliver that care closest to home. And so when we have the opportunities with these sharing arrangements with the IHS facilities, with the clinics that are in the village to provide for a level of care, this is where this becomes so important. Because whether it's 3.5 hours to Seattle or whether it's 3.5 hours from Aliknagik to Anchorage, it still requires the veteran to leave their home. It still requires them to be in a big city with no family, with high expenses for transportation and lodging while they're there. So again, we start the conversation by talking about the memorandums of agreements that are out there with IHS. And again, I think that this is one area where we can focus on, where we can truly make a difference in ensuring that good quality care that is affordable and reasonable is provided to our veterans near home. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Nelson.